Hey guys, it's Darren the Window Cleaner, Green Pro Cleaner Limited, window cleaning in Nottingham and Derby. Today I want to have a quick chat about GoCardless Part 2. You may have seen a couple of weeks back I did a video on getting paid through GoCardless, and now we are 100% GoCardless. We only accept GoCardless direct debit service as a form of payment for our regular window cleaning work. And one of the questions I got asked most off the back of that video, and also when I talk about it on the forums and stuff, is how do I get customers on GoCardless? And it's not quite the rocket science that, or dark magic that some seem to think it is. So in short, I thought I'd take a couple of minutes to talk about how I do it. And so we'll start with there's basically three customers you've got to convert. That's existing customers, new canvassed customers when you're knocking on the door or stood in the street talking to them, or your call-up customers, people that you have, people that we get through our lead generation service that are already looking for a window cleaner. That's a big help. That puts us halfway home and dry. I'll put links to everything I talk about in the box below. I'll put a link down in the box about to the GoCardless service, so you can sign up if you haven't already. If you haven't already, you're missing a trick. Get on it. I'll also pop a link to the forums that I talk about, because I also get asked by quite a lot of our YouTube guys out there, what is this forum? Come find us, some great guys in there, plenty of people to talk to about the mundane world of window cleaning. And I'll also bang a link to our website, to our lead generation service for those of you looking to expand your business. But anyway, moving on. With the GoCardless, you've got your three types of customer. First off is your existing client. Excuse me, sounding a bit bunged up. It's the old hay fever kicking in big time this year. And with the existing client, you're probably already taking cash, checks, a bit of backs payments, so on and so forth. And it can all get to be a bit of a ball ache trying to stay on top of it, seeing who's paid, chasing up payments, so on and so forth. Now with this round, we were fortunate. This round's only 14 months old. We started building it in February of 2017 when we moved up here. So everybody straight away got put on GoCardless. With our old round, before we sold it up, we started putting people on GoCardless, and how we done it was quite straightforward. We sent out a letter explaining the benefits, explaining why GoCardless was the way forward. No more cash collections, no more disturbing people of an evening, so on and so forth. We put a link in the letter that people could put into their tablets or their cell phones, etc., to sign up. And we explained to people that they needed to be signed up onto the GoCardless prior to the next clean, or their windows simply wouldn't get cleaned. We also included our bank details, and we put the account number and sort code on there with an explanation that they could settle any outstanding debts by backs, but we wouldn't be moving forward with them as a client unless they signed up on the direct debit service. We lost perhaps 10% of the client base. No big deal, because that was a 10% that always had 1, 2, 3 cleans outstanding, so on and so forth. So we didn't cry about that. We didn't miss them at all, and happy days. Now, next one is when you're canvassing, when you're on the doorstep talking to somebody, you're cold calling, or even if you've been called out to go and do a quote and you're stood there. And I'll link this as well. This will go to the payments page for GoCardless on my website, greenproclean.co.uk/payments. But if I'm stood on the door talking to the customer, no problem, Mr. Smith, that's £20 a month, windows, frames, seals, doors, including conservatory. Text you the night before I'm coming so you can leave the gate on the latch. Once I'm finished, I'll text you a receipt, and payments collected 5 to 7 days later by direct debit service. If that's all good with you, we'll start you on Tuesday. Oh, that's wonderful. Happy days. At which point I pull out the smartphone, pull up my payments page on my website directly on my smartphone right there. And what's your email address, Mr. Smith? I put that down on the phone. I know the address because I've already stood there, put that in the phone. And what account number do you want to use for your direct debit service? Excellent. And I put it in right there and then, no messing about, job done, bosh, happy days. Now we also do a lot of lead generation these days, as you may be aware. So we get a lot of clients come to us through various resources. And we've actually gotten to a point where we have a price menu service now. a 3-bedroom semi cost X, a 4-bed detached cost that, townhouse cost whatever, so on and so forth. So through talking to customers on the phone and a little bit of Google mapping, we can pretty much establish exactly what they need. Sometimes the price is a little over, sometimes the price is a little under. We went with this option simply because talking to some of our friends down south who run much larger firms than us, it's exactly what they do, and they're extremely successful, and we want to be successful. And it was Darren Smith at Purple Rhino who once said to me, if you want to be one of the big boys, emulate the big boys. So that's what we do. We look at firms that are successful, that are bigger than us, that are stronger than us, and we copy their methods, we copy their systems blatantly. Not so blatantly that we don't ask permission. Some of the stuff we have on our website came from other people's websites, but it was asked for. We did ask permission to use it, and it was granted, and we're grateful for that. So a big shout out to you, know who you are as usual. Anyhow, moving on with the customers, when we're talking to them on the phone, it's very straightforward. Once again, they get the same information explained to them. They get told that, okay, Mrs. Brown, that'll be £15 a month, windows, frames, seals, doors, top, bottom, front, back, all the way around. I'll text you the night before I'm coming so you can leave the gate on the latch. Once I'm done, I'll text you a receipt, and payment is 5 to 7 days later by direct debit service. Oh, that's lovely. Wonderful, Mrs. Brown. What email address do you want to use for your on your account? The reason you ask for the email address is twofold, and we'll get to that. And number one is that when you go on to GoCardless to put in their account information, it asks for their email address because they want to email a confirmation of the setup, etc. So you need it for that. So we ask for the email address, and then straight there on the phone, which account number do you want to use for your direct debit, Mrs. Smith? Okay, sorry, we're talking to Mrs. Brown now, aren't we? I'm losing track. Which account number for your direct debit, Mrs. Brown? Happy days. Sort code, happy days. You'll get a confirmation from GoCardless shortly that that's all set up, and we'll see you next Wednesday, or whenever we're going to go do the clean. We then go onto our payments page directly on our laptop right here, put in the customer information, and that's it. They're signed up, ready to rock. Now, you will get some of them on the phone saying to you, can I do that when you come to do the cleaning? And to which the answer is no, it needs to be in place before we come to do the first clean, before we add you to the rounds, Mrs. Brown. But what I will do, excuse me, what I will do is I will email you a confirmation of everything we've spoken about, your address, the scheduling, the frequency, the price, etc., etc. And I'll put a link on there to GoCardless. And excuse me, a cup of tea's gone down wrong. I'll put a link on there for the GoCardless. And once you've had a read of that and you've made yourself comfortable and happy with that, you click on there and you can get all that set up yourself. But we can't get you onto the round until that's in place, Mrs. Brown. So I'll leave that with you. Any questions, you've got my number, give me a call. And that's the end of the conversation. And then we jump onto the email, bang them out an email that says, hi Mrs. Brown, thanks for your time today, etc., etc. Just to confirm, the address is 123 Orange Street. We'll be cleaning your windows, frames, seals, doors, top, bottom, front, back once a month. The price for the monthly cleaning is £15. Payment can be made by direct debit service through GoCardless. Please follow the link below, and we put the link in there, etc., etc. Please be aware that no cleaning will take place until the direct debit system. No cleaning will take place until the direct debit service is in place. Kind regards, Darren Greenpo Clean Limited. Out of everyone we email, 10 to 15% never sign up, and that's kind of handy because that's the 10 to 15% that we're always going to find a reason to mess you about, sod you around, and waste your time. And by them just not signing up, that's great. They've completely gone and saved us time, saved us having to invest any more time in no good clients, as it were, in unwanted clients. Some of them do genuinely just forget to get around to it. I'll deal with that later and don't get around to it. So we keep an eye on them. We send them the first message. If it's not done within 2 to 3 days, we just send a reminder out. Hi there, Mrs. Brown. Were you still wanting us to book you in for next week? If so, blah, 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 blah. And the rest is history. And out of that, a couple more of them will, but the majority don't. So anyway, I hope you found this useful. Once again, any comments, bang them in the box below. Thanks for subscribing, guys. I took a look the other day, 800 plus subscribers. As I said, that's kind of crazy. So if you haven't yet subscribed and you like what we do, please do subscribe. Come join us. But But yeah, so I'll put all the links down below. I'll bang a link to our website for our services for the lead generation, and also for our payment page for GoCardless. Don't sign up yourselves on my payment page, because otherwise I'll be billing you. I'll put a link to the guys at GoCardless there, so if you haven't yet, get yourself signed up. It's 1% of your money at the end of the day. It's nothing. If you're sitting there with a debt list of £2,000 and I say to you, give me 20 quid, I'll go and get that 2 grand for you, you're going to go, yeah, all right. So what's the difference? Get on it. Use them at collecting your debt list. I'm away next month on my holidays. I'll be sitting there in the sunshine for 3 weeks, and by the time I get on that plane, my debt list will stand at around £1,400 to £1,800. However, whilst I'm sitting on the beach with 6 of my closest Mexican friends, that money will just keep trickling into my account, all thanks to GoCardless. And shout out to Phoebe, she knows who she is. And apart from that, guys, a big thanks for watching. As I say, comments in the box below, links will be down below. Have a great weekend, enjoy the bank holiday. I'm off to get my groceries in for the week. Such an exciting life for the winter cleaner. Ciao for now.